Very good morning, class 8th students. From Sunway School, Nagina, we brought for you today third chapter, Migration in Geography of 8th class. Just before beginning explanation of this chapter and exercise, let me hope that you all are working nicely and doing well in your preparation for unit test. Staying well, obeying your parents. Now let us see migration, third chapter. So this migration means move from one home to another, new home, permanently or temporarily. We would have heard migration of birds and animals, those who travel seasonally from one part of the world to another. And human migration is often movement of the people from one place to another over long distances for the purpose of living in the new location permanently or for a long time. It may be undertaken by an individual or a group. Migration excludes short-term movements like those nomads, commuters and tourists, which migrants do not intend to stay at new location for long. However, seasonal movement of the hired farmer laborers, this hired means those who are working for money, maybe per day or per month. So these laborers, that is transhumans, the seasonal movement of this pastoral people with their animals to warmer pastures in winter and again back in the summer to their original place. So such process is called transhumance. It is an important word. I am focusing for you. It's transhumance. So we have to see this as an example of temporary migration. Migration is voluntary when people themselves choose to migrate. For example, in search of better opportunities, some migrations, though voluntarily, are forced by conditions such as wars, famines and epidemics. People who migrate in such condition cannot return to their homes on grounds of safety. So such people are called refugees. Some migrations are not voluntary, as in case of people who are forcibly expelled or taken away as prisoners. So such migrations are not voluntarily, means which are under our control. Involuntarily means which are out of the control of human being. Now we are on types of migration. Migration may be outward or inward. Outward migration means moving of the people out of a region, that is called emigration. Focusing the spelling of emigration is starting from E. It means like exit, going out. And the people who move out, they are called emigrants. Inward migration of the movement of the people into a region is called immigration. So we have to keep in mind, when we are exiting, when we are moving out, that is immigration, but when we are moving inside, it is called immigration. So these two terms should be very clear and we should not get confused about them. And the people who move in are called immigrants. The region from which people immigrate are known as donor region, like Mexico, India, Russia, China, Ukraine, Bangladesh and Pakistan are some of the leading donor countries. The regions to which people migrate are known as receiver regions. For example, the USA, Germany, Saudi Arabia and Canada are some of the leading receiver regions. So these are the regions which we have to keep in mind, from usually from which country people are migrating and usually in which countries or to which countries people are migrating. From where they are migrating, they are donors, and to which they are migrating, they are receiver region. We have another types now, internal migration. What is internal migration? When people move to a new home in another place within the same country, it is called internal migration. The migration of the people from rural to urban areas, villages to towns and cities, and from small urban areas to large and urban areas, that is town to cities, in search of better facilities. In search of better facilities or better opportunities. These are the examples of internal migration. Now coming on next page, you can see we are on this page. Then in figure 3.2 they are showing people living from Sudan, a country that has experienced prolonged famine. Famine means there is so much dry and violence is there in recent times. So people have migrated, they have moved with their belongings, you can see. We have next type is international migration. What is international migration? When people cross an international border to move to a new home or a different country is called international migration. Or external migration. External migration may be intercontinental, that is between the continents, or it may be intracontinental, between countries in the same continent. The migration of Europeans to different parts of Asia, Africa, and the America and Australia to set up colonies is an example of intercontinental migration. After the partition of India, that is in 1947, a large number of people migrate between India and Pakistan depending on where they wish to settle. This is an example of intracontinental migration. We have next heading with us causes of migration. So there is an activity also here. Read about the voyage of the ship, that is Mayflower, sailed from England 1620. What kind of migration was that voyage made in summer vacation? You can sit and study this book. Online ebook is available for this. Then you can tell me when the school will reopen. I will ask you, have you understood about intercontinental and intracontinental migration? I repeat again, intercontinental is between two continents, like Asia is different continent, America is different continent. While intracontinental, intracontinental means the people are taking Asian people from one country, moving to another country in Asia only. That is called intracontinental. Causes of migration. People migrate for various reasons. They compare the advantages, disadvantages of staying where they are and moving to a new place. Other factors like distance, terrain, travel cost, travel time, modes of transportation, cultural barriers also influence their decision to migrate. So, other different causes, the causes of migration may be grouped into main categories, that is push factors and pull factors. Push, you understand, that force out, and pull, you understand, that attract in. The difficulty that cause people to migrate are called push factors. Some of the major push factors are food shortage in a country, so people want to leave that country. Shortage of jobs, low earning, and unstable economic condition. Then third point is lack of amenities such as good housing, transport, power supply, medical facilities, education, and so on. Then war. Then natural disasters like recurrent floods, famines, and so on. Then we have persecution, that is hostility, ill treatment because of some race, religion, belief, religious belief, or some social practices or political ideas. All these factors can be termed into push factors. If these things will be found in a country, people do not want to stay in that country. There are attracting factors are called pull factors. The factors that attract immigrants to a certain place are called pull factors. Some of the major pull factors are as follows: abundance of food and other resources. Number one is abundance of food and other resources. Means food and other resources. Resources means what? The things which we use in daily routine. So they are resources. So they are in large amount. That is called abundance, meaning in large amount. Higher earnings, better employment opportunities, and stable economy. So if these things will be there, they will be attracted. Better amenities. Amenities are like facilities which are providing to the people with some comforts and benefits. So that are amenities. Then political stability is there. Government is not destabilizing. Government is not leading to such disturbance in the country, such confusion in the country like war and all, or any kind of disease is spreading. So government is able to command and control the people of the country, as well as the problems of the country is easily met. Lower risk of natural disasters. There is lower risk of natural disasters. Disasters are coming very less in that country. Like this countries are having good attraction for the people to go and live there. Racial equality is found. Religious freedom is there, and freedom of thought and expression also there. This also found in such countries. Then we are coming to a brief history of migration. I hope push and pull factors you all understood. If any doubt is there, please ask in the comment box. I will be replying you. So this YouTube is for them. I have already completed online most of the doubts. Still some doubts are arising. Then you can ask through YouTube also. A brief history of migration. It is believed that modern humans, immigrants in Africa, about its 10,000, 2 lakh years ago, the humans were nomadic hunter-gatherers who moved in search of food and water. They usually followed by the animals they hunted, and their migrants were driven by the change in climate. Archaeological evidences suggest that these humans spread throughout Africa and sometime between 80,000 and 60,000 years ago. Years ago. So like this 23rd page is completed, coming on page number 24. So this years ago, large number of them moved out of the continent. They entered Asia from the west, spread through the Asia to Europe and Australia, and about 40,000 years ago to the Americas between 20,000 and 15,000 years ago. By about 10,000 years ago, man had changed from hunter-gatherer to a farmer and begun to live a settled life. Human migrations were now aimed mainly at finding and occupying land good for crops and grazing of animals. This gradually led to migration for conquering new lands, developing trade, and getting access to a new resource. It led to the rise and falls of many empires and buildings of nations. Beginning in the 15th century, many Europeans went to voyages to discover to the search out new lands and resources. In the 16th century, European countries began to set up colonies in different parts of America, Africa, Asia, and Australia, and between 16th and 19th century, many Europeans migrated to these colonies, attracted by opportunities such as cheaply available land and abundant resources. Some people who migrated to escape persecution or difficult condition in their homeland. For example, many Irish people migrate to North America to escape a famine in Ireland. There were forced migration too, especially in the 17th and 18th century, like the transportation and large number of African as slaves and North American transportation of British criminals to Australia as punishment. Over a few generations, the immigrants settling in the new colonies outnumbered the native people in some countries such as Australia and Americas. So, the Industrial Revolution began in Europe in the 18th century. This involves a change from the manufacturing of goods by hand to manufacturing with the help of machines. It triggered an enormous growth in the manufacturing industries and related industries such as mining. Towns and cities came up around the factories and machines and mines. Many people from villages and even from other countries migrated to these urban centers in search of jobs. There was several gold rush. What is this gold rush? Actually, when we come to know a new place where gold mine has been found, so people are rushing towards that place. It's called gold rush. It happened in 19th century. As in Australia, South Africa, and North America, a gold rush is rapidly migration of a miners to a site where new gold deposit have been discovered. So you can see in this picture, page number 25, figure 3.4, how people are rushing, miners arriving in Canada during a gold rush in the 19th century. So like this, many people are coming, especially they are expert in mining and just exploring the land and finding out the material. In general, migration in search of better opportunities from rural to urban areas, from small town to large cities, and from less developed countries to more developed countries has been a common trend among humans since ancient time. As a result, the largest concentration of population across the world are found in cities that offer different opportunities to a large number of people. So like this, migration becomes speedy. Impact of migration. Impact means what are the results when migration took place, what happened, what are the effects. Large scale migration affects donor region from which people migrate and receiver region to which the migrants go. It may change the size and the age sex composition of the population. It may also change the birth rate and the death rates and social conditions such as level of education, condition of health, and so on. It may change economic conditions too, like production and resources, economic development, income and expenses, and so on. The changes may be positive, that is beneficial, or it can be negative and harmful. Let us see what are this impact is. First of all, we are on impact of migration on the donor regions. Positive factors. The first factor is immigration reduces the population density, which in turn reduces the pressure on resources. This helps to control overpopulation. Immigration reduces the rates as the migrants are mostly young adults, so who wish to raise a family. Migrants often send back money to people in their original home. This helps to improve the economy of their native place. Like in India, this often happens in the course of rural-urban migration. It also happens in cases of external migration. For example, many families in Kerala have attained a better standard of living with money sent back by the family members working in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, and various other places in Arabian countries. So like this is a live example which we can observe in Kerala as well as in certain part of Uttar Pradesh. Also it's happening now. Negative factors. Emigration may lead to the loss of labor, especially the skilled labor. This slows down economic development. So these negative factors are when people are migrating from the donor regions. So on the donor regions from where the people are getting out, what happened to that place? In negative factors we have understood, emigration may lead to loss of labor, especially skilled labor. Skill means those who have quality. This slows down the economic development. Emigration leads to the loss of the young people of working age. The reduced working population has to support relatively large dependent population. Emigration causes family structure to break down as men often migrate without their families. It may also make the sex ratio abnormally high as the number of males is significantly reduced. Emigrants often give up to their own culture and adopt the culture of the place where they settle. So this is also a negative factor. They forget their culture. This become more and more evident over generations. Impact of migration on the receiver region. We also have some effect on the receiver region. What are the four positive effects? Let us see. Immigration reduces underpopulation. Number first factor is immigration reduces underpopulation. It increases supply of labor, often increases supply of skilled labor. This helps in economic development. So that's happening here. Supply of labor is increases and skilled labor is increases. So economic development is taking place in such countries where people are migrating to. Immigrants workers may be willing to work at cheaper rates than the native workers. They may also be willing to do jobs that native workers avoid. So what we can understand from this point we can understand that the people, those who are living in the country, like people are living, the citizens of Australia, they will not work at cheaper rates like laborers. But if we will call the people from other countries like African countries or like some of the Asian countries, Philippines or India even, or Pakistan or Bangladesh, their people are ready to work at cheaper rates, and that's what countries factories will get benefits and it will develop faster. On page number 26, fourth point of impact of migration on receiver region, and it is positive point. Fourth point, what is positive point? Positive effect. Immigration increases the working population, especially in developed regions where birth and death rates are low, and a large section of population comprises old people. The presence of people of different races, religion, languages, and cultures in a society increases understanding and tolerance among different groups. People coming from other countries can encourage local people to learn different languages, which make it easier for them to work in other countries. So these are the positive effects for a receiver region. Now, negative factors that a receiver region tolerate or has to bear. Large-scale immigration increases the pressure on local resources, especially in already crowded areas such as cities. For example, a large number of houses are built in a small place. Most people have to live in small apartments. House rents and the land prices are very high in those, and those who cannot afford housing to live in good place, they live in shanties. Shanties, what are shanties? Shanties are temporary houses made of this iron sheets, or what we can say temporary material of cement. Even we can say they are just using bamboo sticks also to make shanties in very congested and unsanitary condition. Second point, sometimes industries prefer to employ cheap migrant labor. This makes it difficult for the local people to get jobs. When cheap labor is provided from outside, the regional people will not get job and unemployment will be there. A large amount of money earned by the immigrants is sent away to their native places. So this money also sent to native places, so has to bear, this place has to bear all this. Large scale immigration of the people having a language and religion different from the local may cause conflict. So it can cause conflict also. There can be frictions between two kinds of people. Some examples are violent ethnic clashes that resulted from the large scale migration of the Jews to Israel and Tamil groups to Sri Lanka. So example also given, which we have seen in the history of Sri Lanka, history of Israel. Our next important point is brain drain. It's very important. We have to very much understand this. What does this brain drain refers to? Brain drain refers to the immigration of large number of highly skilled and educated people, including scientists, doctors, engineers, businessmen, economists. Why? These learning people are taking all the resources and all the facilities which are provided in a country, and then they are leaving their motherland and they are serving to other country. That's what The talent which their country has given them, it is not used for the same country, it is used for other country. That's what their brain, their talent is just a waste, like if it is going in drain. That's what we used to call it's a brain drain. It's technologically called human capital flight. It refers to the moving away of human resources from a region. This kind of migration commonly occurs from less developed countries to more developed countries. There are causes for brain drain also, and there are both factors, push factors and pull factors. Brain drain is caused by various push factors present in less developed countries and pull factors present in more developed countries. Let us see what are push factors. We have a line of factors. Number first, low earning and low prospects of finding better jobs, lack of facilities for education and training, lack of facilities for and funds for research, poor condition of work, poor work culture and discrimination, and lack of freedom at work. Political or economic instability. Then there is last point as persecution. Persecution means giving punishment on grounds of race and religion, social customs or political ideas. So that thing can also force the people to move out of a place, that is pushing them out of the country. That is called brain drain. Pull factors, high earnings and good prospects of finding better jobs, ample facilities for education and training, ample facilities and funds for research, good condition of work. All these are pull factors. Now second last pull factor is good work culture, ensuring appreciation and freedom at work. When you will open your book, you will find properly this point. Political and economic stability is there in the country, so that is attracting a country. A country is attracting by its political and economic stability the people to work there. Now what are the effects of brain drain on the country? Brain drain is a cause and concern because it robs a country of its brightest people. Its impact is therefore generally seen as negative, though it has a positive side as well. Some of the negative and positive brain drain factors are as follows. First of all, negative factors, we can say the country loses skilled labor, slowing down its development. Country losses services of scientists, doctors, teachers, leading to a fall in the quality of its medical educational facilities. The country from which people are going out, it loses in good businessmen and its economy suffers. So all these things has to be bear by a country when it does not have good facilities for the educated people or trained people. The resources that a country is spent on educating and training immigrants are wasted. The country loses the taxes that the immigrants would pay. The immigration of some and their success abroad encourages others to follow. So that can encourage other people also. These are more negative factors are there for a country, while very less positive factors are there. Number one positive factors is those who immigrate sharpen their skill and increase their knowledge abroad. The country benefits from this. Some of them return after some years. When they are returning, they are having new talent because they are going to a more developing country, and there they can gain more talents and more knowledge that they can be using for their country if they are returning for after some time to their motherland. Those who emigrate often send back a large amount of money or income to their home country. This helps to the country's or home country's economy. Our last positive factor is the prospect of emigrating encourages the people to get good education and develop skill. Since all of them do not succeed in immigrating, some are always left to serve their own country. So they are getting experience that they will go abroad and they have to improve their more training and what we can say education. And when they will improve, they will get the chance. But all are not getting the chance, or all are not successfully going from their own country out. That's what some are left here to serve the country. Now there are points to remember. This points to remember you all have to read in homework. We are coming now to exercise portion. This is exercise. I will be giving you all the answers and all the questions also I will show you in written form. So here are answers for first of all exercise A. Exercise A, which is given on page number 28, short answers. Question asked is, what is human migration? So my answer for you, the student, is human migration is the movement of people from one place to another, often over long distances, for the purpose of living in the new location permanently or for a long time. Question 2 we are having here, give an example of temporary migration. Answer is transhumance, that is TRANSHUMANC is an example of temporary migration. Question 3, who is refugee? Answer is a person who migrate in conditions of wars, famines and epidemics and cannot return to his or her home ground for safety is called a refugee. Like this, we have completed 3 answers. Now, coming on question number 4. Give an example of forced migration. Answer is when people of a particular region migrate in conditions of wars, famines and epidemics, then such a migration can be considered as an example of forced migration. Coming on question number 5. Name 2 countries from which many people emigrate and 2 countries that receive a large number of immigrants. So answer here is Bangladesh and Pakistan are the 2 countries from which many people might emigrate, and USA and Saudi Arabia are the 2 countries that receive a large number of immigrants. Like this, you have to write full language. We have completed 5th answer also. Question 6 is asking what is mean by rural to urban migration. Answer here is when people migrate from villages to towns or villages to cities or towns to cities, from small urban areas to larger urban areas, that is towns to cities, in search of better opportunities, then with such migration we mean that it is rural urban migration. After completing our 5 answers, 6th answer, we are coming on question number 7. What does question number 7 ask? Question number 7 is asking how did the Industrial Revolution affect migration? So my answer is after the Industrial Revolution, towns and cities came up around such industries or industrial centers, and many people from villages and even from other countries migrated to these industrial areas in search of jobs. In this way, Industrial Revolution affect migration. I hope you understood the answer. If you didn't understand, ask me in comment box. It's easy enough. How Industrial Revolution affect migration. Now question number 8. What is mean by brain drain? That's one of the important question. Answer is brain drain refers to the emigration of large number of highly skilled and educated people, including scientists, doctors, engineers, businessmen, and economists from one country to another country. It's again, now we are on second exercise. Like this, we have completed exercise A is over. Exercise B is asking distinguish between the following. So you can make 2 columns, or if you're writing in this manner also it is acceptable. I have written first column points emigration. 3 points are it is the movement of people out of a region. Then second point, my population of a country decreases due to more amount of immigration. 2 countries in which more immigration take place are Bangladesh and Pakistan. While in opposite column I will be writing about immigration. First point of my immigration is it is the movement of the people into a region. Population of a country increases due to more amount of immigration. 2 countries in which more immigration take place are Canada and Australia. Now coming on distinguish between second is for donor region and receiver regions. So for donor regions, first I'm reading, my 3 points are, you can write these same points. A region from where people going out is called donor region. Donor region will have reduction in their population because people are moving out. Donor region usually have less facilities and resources. So this is an identification, or this is the characteristics of a donor region. Now while receiver region, a region where people are coming in is called a receiver region. Receiver region will have increment in their population. Receiver region usually have more facilities and resources. So These are our 3 points for receiver region. Coming on third distinguish, which is asking about push factors and pull factors. Lack of facilities for education and training is there, then people will be pushed out of a country. Second point, lack of facilities and funds for research. Then third point is poor condition of work. Similar opposite points, similarly in opposite column, we are just writing all the points which I have written in favor, same level of point or same kind of point I have to give in against also. Pull factors are against point. Number one, ample facilities for education and training. Ample means, I have told you, a good facility, a large number of facilities are available. Ample facilities and funds for research, good condition of work. So these are the 3 points. Like this you have to learn. Fourth distinguish is asking about internal migration and external migration. Our 3 points for internal migration are migration within the same country is called internal migration. Country's economy does not disturb due to internal migration. This is my second point. In third point, we have written example of internal migration, that is migration from villages to cities or migration from towns to cities in India. While external migration, first point is migration across international borders or migration from one country to another country is called external migration. Country's economy disturbs due to external migration. Example of external migration, as third point we have written migration from India to USA for better learning or for better jobs. So these are my 3 points for external migration. Like this completed fourth distinguish. Coming on fifth distinguish, that is intercontinental migration and intracontinental migration. First point for intercontinental migration is when migration of people takes place between two continents. It is known as intercontinental migration. Second point, it's more costly for migrants to move from one continent to other continent as distance is very large. Example of intercontinental migration is people of Asia migrating to North America. While intracontinental migration, first point is when migration of people take place between two countries within the same continent, it is known as intercontinental migration. Second point, it is less costly for migrants to move from one country to another country within the same continent. Example of intracontinental migration is people of India migrating to Japan within Asia. So like this we have completed our all distinguished. Our next exercise is exercise C, which is asking answer with brief explanation. Here question number 1 is asking what are the main causes of migration? Classify them into push and pull factors. Answer is people compare advantages like disadvantages, terrain, travel cost, travel time, modes of transportation and cultural barriers. I have told you terrain means type of land, whether it is a plateau, plain or hill. That is called TERRAIN. Then we have to write this also, or similar disadvantages of staying where they are and moving to a new place. The main factors of migration may be grouped into the following categories. Number 1, push factors are food shortage, war, natural disasters like recurrent flood, famines and so on. Pull factors are abundance of food and other resources, political stability, lower risk of natural disasters. Question 2 is asking what are the main positive effects of migration on donor and receiver region? Answer is the main positive effects of migration on donor and receiver region are as follows. Number first point, emigration reduces the population density, which in turn reduces the pressure on resources. This helps to control overpopulation. Emigration reduces birth rates as migrants are mostly young adults who wish to raise a family. After birth rates we have to put comma. Then third is migrants often send back money to people in their original home. This helps to improve the economy of the native place. The main positive effects of migration on the receiver region are as follows. Number first, immigration reduces underpopulation. It increases supply of labor. Often it increases supply of skilled labor. All this helps in economic development. Immigrant workers may be willing to work at cheaper rates than the native workers. So these are selected points which we have taken for question number 2. Question 3 is asking briefly explain how migration harms donor and receiver regions. So my answer is migration harms donor and receiver regions in the following ways. Number first point I have written as emigration may lead to a loss of labor, especially skilled labor. This slows down economic development. Emigration leads to a loss of young people of working age. The reduced working population has to support a relatively large dependent population. Third point, emigration causes family structures to break down as men often migrate without their families. Then migration harm receiver region in the following ways. Here also 3 points I have written. First point, large scale migration increases the pressure on local resources, especially already crowded areas such as cities. Sometimes industries prefer to employ cheap migrant labor. This makes it difficult for local people to get jobs. A large amount of money earned by the immigrants is sent away to their native places. Like this, we have completed how migration harms donor and receiver region. Question 4 is asking what are the main causes and effects of brain drain. Answer: the main cause of brain drain are classified into push factors present in less developed countries and pull factor present in more developed countries. So first of all, push factors we have written as number first, low earning and low prospect of finding better jobs, lack of facilities for education and training, donor, poor condition of work. Now pull factors are high learning and good prospects of finding better jobs, ample facilities for education and training, good condition of work. So all these are pull factors. The main advantage and positive effects of brain drain are as follows. First of all, negative factors we have to write. The country loses skilled labor, slowing down its development. The country loses businessmen and its economy suffers. The country loses the taxes that the immigrants would pay. Next, positive factors heading we have to put, and our first point in this will be those who emigrate sharpen their skill and increase their knowledge abroad. Those who emigrate often send back a large part of their income to their home country. Third is the prospect of immigrating encourages people to get food, get good education and develop their skill. Now it's time for exercise D, that is fill-ups. Question is saying the seasonal movement of pastoral people with their animal is called. So I have written transhumance is my first answer for exercise D. Second question is asking people who leave their own country to settle in other countries are called emigrants. That is, spelling is written here EMIGRANTS. So this is transhumance first answer, emigrant second answer, then village and town third answer. Question for that is migration from village or a town to a city is an example of rural to urban migration. Fourth question is a dash is the rapid migration of miners to a site where gold deposit have been discovered. Answer is here gold rush for fourth fill up. Fifth is asking dash is another name for human capital flight, so our answer is brain drain. Similarly, we are on page 29 now. Exercise E is given here. We have to choose the right option. For first, I'm not reading the question. You can read question. If you are not able to read, you can ask me. Question is immigrants are the people who migrate. So first we have B option is correct, that is into our country. Into a country it is actually. So you can correct the tick option into a country. Second, a software professional takes up a job and migrates from India to USA. This is an example of. So this is an example of intercontinental, that is A option is correct, intercontinental migration. Which of the following is not example of internal migration? So C option is correct for third one. Third C option is people migrating from Kerala to Dubai. This is an example of internal migration. Now, question number fourth, between 80,000 60,000 years ago, large groups of modern humans moved out of. Answer is Africa, fourth C. Fifth question is saying among the following continent, the last to be populated by human was probably Australia. Australia, that is B option is correct. So sixth. Which of the following continents have more immigrants than natives? So we have read previously South America also, Australia also, and North America all are having. So that's what we have written, all of these. That is our D option is correct in this. For seventh question, which of the following statement is not correct? After reading carefully all four questions, we have found out that emigration increases the working population in the donor region. This statement is not correct, that is D option. So we have ticked. Like this we have completed full third chapter. So in homework, please learn it, prepare well, study hard, complete your work. When school will call you, show your notebooks nicely and show your talents. Honestly behave in unit test. All the best for all of you.